A beef and potato soup with all these vegetables cooked in a beef broth. All in one pot, simple, quick, fast, and inexpensive. Why? Because we're using chopped meat instead of cuts of beef, which always cost more. And we're going to leave it chunky in the soup, and we'll see how it looks. Let's get started. I have this skillet preheated, and we're going to everything into this pot in one shot. We'll hold back on the tomatoes a little bit because we want to saute the meat and the vegetables without having that liquid in there. We don't need any oil. And the chopped meat will give off enough fat to saute, and we're going to break this up chunky style so we have nice pieces of the beef in the soup. And the rest of the vegetables, as far as the size, for me, since it's a meal, I want to see the vegetables. You can make them smaller, you can make them larger. But that's the size that I cut them. Now you could cut everything up the day before and have everything ready. This is like the quickest beef and potato stew or soup, however you call it, that you could possibly make. The only reason I'm using chopped meat, because other meats you have to braise and cook for a long time, and you're certainly not going to put in a beautiful piece of filet mignon into this. The bay leaves are in there, the thyme is in there. You can use fresh, but I use this dry thyme, which smells just like fresh. This company only supplies dry herbs and spices, and they're online and they're local for me right here in my neighborhood. And we're going to put a little salt in here, even though it's like a soup. You could season it now or later. I'm going to season it now. A couple of teaspoons of sea salt. And some pepper. We're cooking with a fairly high flame because all we want to do is sweat up the vegetables, get that meat cooked a little bit, and then we're going to add the beef stock. This is a meal in itself. You don't need anything else to go with this. Your starch is in there, your protein is in there, you have your vegetables, and there's a little bit of beef fat in there for flavor. And this is not going to take long. Everything that's in there tastes good by itself. That means when you put them together, it will be great tasting. Whatever time it takes, the longest things in here to cook are the carrots and the potatoes. So as soon as the carrots and the potatoes are done, this is ready. Then you have a couple of options. Either leave it a little watery, or we can put a little cornstarch in there, not roux, because you'd like to keep it looking nice and clear, just to give it a little body, which I'm going to do. And when eating it, it just lingers in your mouth a little bit longer when when it's a little thicker than just plain water. Another minute, we're going to add the beef broth. Cover it up and let it simmer. How quick is that? So I'll shut the filming off right now. No sense in looking at this for another 2 minutes. Almost forgot something. Now that the meat is brown and the vegetables are sweated up pretty good, now I can add the tomatoes. And it's okay to give off water now. Now we'll add the beef broth. It's already sitting over here on the other burner, nice and hot. And by looking at the amount that we have there, we're going to add like 2 quarts. Because it will reduce a little bit. Now you can cover it, or you can watch it cook, and just keep the level of liquid the same. Let's mix it, get a feel for it, feel if the liquid to solid is in the correct proportion, which it feels pretty good. We're not making a stew, we're making a soup. So after you reach this level, as it's cooking and it reduces, just add a little water to keep the same level. You're not diluting anything, because as it reduces it gets stronger. So when you put the water, it's just putting back the stock taste where it was when you started. Okay, so let it boil, let it simmer. Don't cook it too fast. I'm going to check this in about 20 minutes. Well, like I figured, 20 minutes later, we're done. Now we're going to make a little mix of cornstarch and water. I'll measure it. And I'll get the level back to where it was. As you can see, the line there. Well, now that you brought the level back to where it was when we started, and it's boiling, now we're going to add this cornstarch water mix. 2 tablespoons of cornstarch and cold water. Smooth it out with your fingers. This is the amount just to start with. It's always best to go less and then add more. And just drizzle it in while you're stirring. More could be added, but for me, it just added a little body to it, allowing the vegetables and the meat to float instead of really sink. And we're done. So all in all, cut everything up the day before, put it into the pot. That took about, what, almost 10 minutes of like sauteing and another 20 minutes of cooking. So in under 45 minutes you have a complete meal here. It's fairly healthy. And the seasoning, what I put in there earlier, I left it alone. For me, it's fine. But people that want more seasoning, you could put hot sauce in there. You could add more thyme, but it has a smooth, pleasant taste right now. Let's see what it looks like in the plate. And that's it, done. And there you go. Full of vegetables, broth, and tasty. Enjoy.